What is going on, everybody? Simply10 here, and today I am wearing glasses because, well, there was sunglasses on the thumbnail and I thought it'd be weird if the video started and I wasn't wearing sunglasses, but let's start over. What is going on, everybody? Simply10 here, and today we are going to have another 10-part episode, and I'm actually really excited about this one. It is something that I have been looking forward to for a while now, and it finally seems like it could actually be a reality. I think it's going to happen. A lot of more prominent figures in the LEGO Star Wars world think it's going to happen. So without further ado, here are my 10 signs for an upcoming CMF LEGO Star Wars series in 2021 or possibly 2022. Just one moment before we jump in here, I'd just like to remind you that I am a channel here on YouTube, and if you like my content, then I make more videos like this. So if I were you, I'd hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed this video, or maybe if you could decide to go and, check out other videos, then if you enjoyed those ones, I would highly recommend you subscribe. Also, just a reminder, if you guys can get me to 1,000 subscribers, you have a chance of winning a couple of pretty cool prizes. But with that out of the way, let's talk about a pretty exciting and interesting topic, and that is the topic of a LEGO Star Wars CMF series. Every single year since 2010, LEGO has been coming out with collectible minifigure series of just, random figures here and there, and then maybe about 5 years ago, I'd like to say, they started introducing, themed minifigure series, first based off of the LEGO movie 2014, and then later based off of the LEGO Batman movie. They had one based off of the LEGO Ninjago movie, and then even more recently, they've actually made 2 separate minifigure series for the Harry Potter theme. Oh, and they also just released a DC minifigure series at the beginning of this year. But sadly, LEGO has never been able to make a LEGO Star Wars collectible minifigure series, and I wouldn't see why they wouldn't want to, just because, their biggest fan base is LEGO Star Wars, so why not make a collectible minifigure series for LEGO Star Wars? And if you're unaware of the reasoning why LEGO cannot make a collectible minifigure series, I will go over that in number 1. So for number 1, in order to understand the rest of these signs I'm about to show you of a future collectible minifigure series, you first have to understand the history. The very first Star Wars action figure was created in 1978 by the Kenner Toy Company, which, by the way, if you didn't know, that company was owned by Hasbro at the time. So basically, in 1978, Hasbro created a Star Wars action figure line. And since that point in time, other toy makers have tried to get into this action figure business for Star Wars, but Disney doesn't allow it because their deal is with Hasbro. LEGO even tried to get into this in the early 2000s when they created a few character packs in, exactly the year 2000. One of them included some Imperial figures, another included some Rebel figures, and a third one included some droids, along with a few others. But sadly, Hasbro for some reason wouldn't stand for this, even though LEGO guys aren't really action figures, but they wouldn't stand for this and they shot them down instantly. There's not been a single character pack of that sort since 2000. In fact, the only time we've ever seen LEGO Star Wars characters sold individually since that time is in little promos off to the side of, say if you buy a gigantic set, you get this little LEGO character as a promo. But even that stopped a few years ago, so there really is no way right now to get any individual LEGO Star Wars characters from LEGO themselves. So now that you know all that, let's jump right into number 2, which is the fact that Hasbro and Disney actually renewed their deal this year for making Star Wars toys. Now, obviously, we don't know the specifics of this deal, but I feel that Disney and Hasbro may have renegotiated things in terms of this only Hasbro being allowed to make these individual action figures. I wouldn't be surprised if LEGO Star Wars is making more money for Disney than Hasbro is. Which is why I feel Disney may have wanted to change the deal with Hasbro in order to allow them to even further capitalize on this LEGO Star Wars market by now allowing LEGO to make a collectible minifigure series. Or, just selling individual Star Wars figures in general. Number 3 was a sign that came out around the middle of this year, and it wasn't really a sign to many people, but I see this as a sign, and that is the fact that there are heavy rumors that the minifigure count is going to change next year. Now, obviously, that may have nothing to do with LEGO Star Wars, but the fact that something is changing might mean that something else is changing. Sort of like, why not, change everything at once, rather than just slowly changing things over time. And many people are unhappy about this rumor because it is rumored that the count of the minifigures is going to be going down. So LEGO may be seeing this as the perfect time to, do something bad with collectible minifigures at the same time as they're adding something good, like their very first LEGO Star Wars collectible minifigure series. But let's move back into another more specific Star Wars rumor, and that is the fact that there are no battle packs coming in January. The very first battle pack was released in 2008, and it pretty much was seen as, basically the cheapest way to get figures from Star Wars. I think LEGO saw it as, well, if we can't sell individual figures, maybe we could sell 4 figures in a really small set. That way fans can still get cheap minifigures and like cluster together a bunch of figures for like an army or something like that. And while this obviously isn't a very good thing, they may be doing it because they might be coming out with a collectible minifigure series to replace this cheap way of obtaining LEGO Star Wars minifigures. I mean, obviously it's sad that we'll be losing battle packs, but maybe we'll find it as a good thing that they're replacing it with ways to sort of just get that individual figure that you want rather than getting 4 of, maybe not exactly what you want. Because in the recent past, they usually include 1 or 2 figures in those battle packs that you really don't want to be collecting mass amounts of. Or I mean, LEGO could just be being stupid, and that means absolutely nothing to this whole CMF idea. But things got more interesting a couple of months ago, and it renewed this conversation of a possible collectible minifigure series when LEGO sold an individual Obi-Wan figure on their website. This Obi-Wan figure was a promo during the early stages of their 20th anniversary LEGO sets, and they decided to sell it individually on their website. And this made a lot of people, including me, go, wait a second. LEGO isn't allowed to do that. Why are they selling this individual Obi-Wan figure when that's not allowed? Now, obviously, they could just, be ignoring that thing and just sort of be doing it, and Hasbro just didn't really care. They didn't go after LEGO. Or this could mean that they're now allowed to sell individual figures, and LEGO is giving us a taste of what is to come. And when this Obi-Wan figure was released, it really made the conversation so much more interesting. And the conversation got even more interesting when another company called Diamond Select revealed that they are selling their own individual Star Wars action figures. So now it's kind of like, well, if Diamond Select can do it and LEGO kind of did it in a way that, maybe they didn't care, but the fact that Diamond Select is doing it with a character like Boba Fett, that probably means that LEGO can too. And at number 7, that's when people started looking around, and including me, I looked around and I realized that Hasbro is making a lot more figures than normal. I mean, I just feel like even now, like week after week, there's new figures announced from Hasbro, and I feel like that wasn't happening before this year. I mean, obviously The Mandalorian just came out, and there has been a renewed interest in the Clone Wars and a renewed interest in Rebels, so they could just be capitalizing on that, but they could be trying to make more to take advantage of what they still have left of the market. Because starting next year, or even this year with Diamond Select, more companies can start making action figures for Star Wars. So at number 8, we're going to take a step back into the LEGO world rather than the action figure Star Wars world, and this has to do with the fact that there was another rumor that came out a couple weeks ago about a possible package change next year. And if you're not aware of what this package change is, it is the fact that LEGO might be changing their packages from the plastic they have now to a small cardboard box. So that just kind of fits into the same rhetoric as the minifigure count, where, they're thinking that if they can release a really cool minifigure series in LEGO Star Wars, that they can get away with some really sucky things like less minifigures and a box that you can't even tell what's inside of it anymore. Number 9 is something that I probably should have combined with 8, and it is important enough to sort of split these two apart because they're almost two different ideas having to do with this change. And this is a rumor that has to do with the possible price increase of these minifigures next year. But I mean, I just feel like this has a different rhetoric than the idea of like the cardboard or the minifigure count, because this just has to do with the fact that, LEGO Star Wars has always been more expensive than other themes, so maybe they'd increase this price because that's just the way it is. I mean, it sucks, but that's just the way it is. So the idea of this price increase could be foreshadowing the fact that there is a LEGO Star Wars CMF to come. And number 10, I just feel like that with all of these ideas, it's about time. LEGO Star Wars, I have no doubt, has done so much for Disney over the years, and I feel like they may have finally, given them a chance and will now allow them to make a collectible minifigure series if they wish to do so. I feel like now with all the things that have come out, LEGO is allowed to make them. It just is now up to them on when and how they decide to make these. I hope and pray that they'll still say $5 and the packages will not change and the minifigure count won't go down, but all those things happening makes a LEGO Star Wars CMF that much more likely. And also along with this, LEGO might decide to hold them off until 2022, but just keep in mind that they are easily on the horizon. Anyways, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching and giving me your time. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like, and if you really enjoyed it, if I were you, I'd check out my other videos, or maybe even just based off of this one, you like it so much that you should hit that subscribe button and that bell so you don't miss out on anything that I have to say. I use this 10-step method in an attempt to bring you information in a unique and interesting and even fun way. And just remember that there are those prizes if you can get me to 1,000 subscribers. Anyways, that is all I have to say for today, and I really hope to see you in the next one.